I'm Erin, I'm APMP's content manager, and you're watching On the Record with APMP. Today I'm joined with Neil and Sarah Levene. They are a Gen X, Gen Z father-daughter duo who both work in the proposal profession. You work in different companies, but you both work on the board of the NCA chapter, Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. How has working in the same profession revealed differences in the ways that the two of you kind of naturally communicate?
I mean, I don't think that it's been that big of a change. I don't know, has it changed anything about how we communicate?
How we communicate now.
No, we just talk about work more.
Yeah, Sarah's always been very communicative, so I don't think it's changed that much how we communicate, but it's definitely shown to me how the communication styles between the generations is different. I've definitely been more attuned to some communication differences that I never would have realized if my daughter hadn't been in the profession, and I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this presentation.
Okay, I absolutely need an example.
Why don't you give yours, because yours is the best.
For example, he thought the word creep meant a jerk, but now the word creep kind of means like a criminal or, someone that's stalking someone.
Yeah.
So he was using creep in the wrong context. He shouldn't be calling people creeps.
I was going to say, how did that come up in proposals?
Well, I think that was more kind of in a regular conversation. I think one of a really good example was one day I was just sitting in my office and I got a call from Sara, and she said that she had just called her boss in a proposal situation and said that my boss is ... dotting me. And I was like, ... dotting me. And I was like, what is that? What does that mean? I said, well, he keeps sending me these messages with ...
Yeah.
I said, well, that means etc. And I heard a much longer story about what it means to Sara.
Yeah, I mean, it's just super passive aggressive. I thought that I'd only been at the job for a couple of weeks. So I thought that my new manager was upset with me. So I sent him this email asking him, what I could do to improve my performance, that I was excited to work there, and what was I doing wrong, and let's talk about it. And he was,
as
boomer,
perplexed as I was.
and sent back like a couple word email, what, ...
Oh no, just furthering, you're in a cycle, just ellipses.
Yeah, so I called him and he told me what it meant to people that are older than 30.
Okay, as someone not older than 30, what does it mean?
Okay, so ... is like calling someone an idiot. Like it's implying their stupidity. So if you say, why did you go to the store? I went there to buy bread, ... as in like, what else would I be going there to buy? Like, it's a way of implying stupidity in a really passive-aggressive way.
Okay.
So I had thought my boss was being passive-aggressive and then refusing to admit what was wrong.
Right, okay, that makes sense, yeah. I'm assuming that kind of thing can happen quite a lot in multi-generational teams.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's all about just adapting and learning everyone else's communication style, learning who responds best to email and who responds best to calls and who responds best to personal texts and who responds best via like a Teams or Slack message.
That's actually a really interesting point, the different mediums of communication. Do you think that there tends to be generational divides in the different mediums preferred?
Something that happened to me very, early in management when like millennials started first coming into the work world is I was in a meeting and all of a sudden somebody pulled out their cell phone during the meeting and was kind of, to me, it looked like they were, I don't know, on Facebook or whatever. And, when this was happening at all of the meetings, at one point I just said, I'd really appreciate if we would all be on the same topic at the same time. And they said, what are you talking about? I'm taking notes. And I'm like, you can't take notes on a cell phone. A cell phone, you call people. And so that was like another kind of from the reverse that, I thought the phone was a distraction to the meeting. And, that media had become, just everything to that generation, and she was just astounded that I would like I take my notes, I take this to my class, I do everything with my cell phone, and to me the cell phone was just a communication tool, and so that was embarrassing to me. And I think in our presentation we try to bring out that part of the solution here is not assuming that people have a malintent in their actions, because while it does occur sometimes that people are bad actors, it really is a minority of the time. And if you start from a position of trying to understand people's actions and then accepting people's actions and understanding the environment that you're in as your first step, and maybe your second and third step, there's a better chance to come to some agreement and meet common goals.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also not about expecting people to change, because a 62-year-old man is not going to suddenly change because it's inconveniencing me, a 25-year-old. They've been working and communicating for far longer than I have. So it's also about, adapting and switching contexts and knowing, who's receptive to what as much as you can to, accept and meet people where they are.
Yeah, so it goes both ways.
Yeah.
There's an empathy for people's own interpretation as well as their own preferences in communication. That makes total sense.
Ask what you mean. I should have asked, after the first email, why are you using ...
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still would have gotten the same reaction as what are you even talking about? I didn't even know what you meant ...
Yeah. I suppose if you do it early, though, you can have a laugh about it. Like when I told the accountants off for sending me a thumbs up because I thought they were mad at me. It turns out they thought that was a very positive, enthusiastic thing.
I've been talking to a lot of my colleagues about this thumbs up thing too, and people are astounded. Like a thumbs up, it doesn't mean good job.
That's the party emoji.
Yeah, because thumbs up is how you rate things, good or bad. And with AI coming out right now, AI asks you every time thumbs up, thumbs down on every prompt it gives you back. So there's definitely a learning. You have to learn how to communicate with people, and it changes so fast. And so if you're offended, you need to communicate and make sure the other person knows before you think that you're about to get fired or that you assume too much.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really track the thumbs up one. I think it's a balance of, if you write something longer than 2 sentences, a thumbs up is not an appropriate response. Neither is okay.
And so we were talking about
okay one,
we were talking about this in front of my younger daughter, who's even more Gen Z. Sara is older Gen Z, but she was saying the thing that really bothers me is when people put periods at the end of a sentence, because that's super passive aggressive. And I mean, a period at the end of the sentence, what are they supposed to use? And she says, put an exclamation point at the end of a sentence to show that you are enthusiastic
and happy to talk
to them.
Or an emoji or something.
Yeah, or a dash is acceptable. And so I'm like, how there's nothing you can do to not be passive aggressive. So I guess you just start every sentence like, this sentence is not passive aggressive ... And then you go on.
Well, you can't use a ... after this isn't passive aggressive. You have to put an exclamation point so that they think that you're. Well, I guess with an exclamation point, everyone else outside of Gen Z
thinks you're
screaming at them.
Well, there you go. That's the key problem, right? If some people are going to think it's passive aggressive, some people are going to think it's overtly aggressive. How do you build a shared language?
I think you have to have mixed communication and there's nothing that will work better than just really communicating and getting to know your teammates. And so in the long term, I think that has to be the solution, is really knowing and developing rapport.
And I think that towards the beginning of, a relationship with a colleague, you have that discussion when do you prefer to communicate? How do you prefer to communicate? How should I get in touch with you? As well as, I think that using the phone at the beginning, as much as that's sacrilegious against my generation, I think that phone calls towards the beginning of getting to know someone is better so that you can see their tone or I guess hear their tone. If you turn your cameras on, you can see them. But I think it's, you should get to know each other and get to know their tone, whether they're sarcastic or not, whether they are, excited, or just how they communicate. And that, once you've heard them talk for a while, you can begin to put their tone of voice to text messages and emails.
That's really good advice. I have a friend who always whole stock sends the most dry text messages. You'd think he's so uninterested in you, and then you meet him in person and he's like, hi.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really good advice, that you get to know the person before you assume things based on your previous experiences.
Because a lot of us aren't in the office like talking to each other every day. So, I mean, it's still important to have that interaction so that you can gauge a person's personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard because, for my generation, if it's a text isn't very important, because if it was important, somebody would pick up the phone and call. Whereas like with my kids, and sometimes I don't answer a text, and if you don't answer a text and answer it fast, they think I'm in the hospital.
Yes, time to start calling.
Yes, so expectations and understanding what those are it's very important.
Yeah. So I guess in a way, you've mentioned that working with people on a case-by-case basis and establishing a rapport with them specifically is important.
It really is.
Yeah. Do you have any other tips that you'd like to share before we wrap this up?
Be nice to other people.
That's a really novel idea.
Yeah, I think you have, while it's helpful to understand people's generations and understand how people act, those in and of themselves are stereotypes, and people are individuals and act differently. And so while that is kind of a cheat sheet that helps a little bit, you really do need to understand people, and that really helps. And probably the biggest tip we've talked about, which is to, assume people have good intent until they prove otherwise, and try to meet them where they are, and understand that you may think you're saying something, but communication is two ways. And if your message isn't received, you haven't completed what communication is.
And don't get defensive, don't get upset when someone comes to you thinking that you meant something else, because once everything is calmed down, like my dad said, they probably have good intent.
Yeah.
They just think that you're the one that slighted them.
And there is just one other thing that I want to say. I have just loved being in the proposal industry for almost it's 30 plus years now, and loved being in APMP, and it's made a meaningful difference in my life to see my daughter join the profession, and how, even after she heard all the dinner conversations that were going on in our house, and to join APMP and start to get the benefits that I saw is just really meaningful. And to be able to do this kind of presentation with her is just like it's just one of my top experiences. And so I really appreciate that APMP gave us the chance to do this and supports things like this. It's a top experience.
Yeah. I mean, to go from writing my first proposal, coloring on the back of the failed printer out sheets for processing, joining the profession and getting to follow my dad's advice. We worked at the same company for a while, which was really neat.
Was it? Did that go well?
Yeah.
It went pretty well, because, I knew that there was someone there that had to answer my questions and couldn't get annoyed by them. So it made learning the field a lot easier.
Yeah, you're like, I know where you live. You can't ignore me.
And it's really nice to say that I'm part of the, small percent of people that join the industry by choice.
Yeah, that's true. So you've got a legacy thing going on here.
Yeah.
Love that.
So thank you for being interested in what we had to say.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm excited to see your presentation.
Thank you.
Great. Well, as a souvenir from this experience, we have given you our little statue. It's a microphone, and it says "On the Record with APMP."
That's
so you can take that home with you. treasure it. It's very valuable.
Oh yeah, it's pure gold.
Yeah, it is. You can practice Grammy speeches in the mirror with it. It's really useful as a lot of purposes. So great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. ...